stories that they've heard this past year, which have been very entertaining. But first of all, I'd like to introduce Jill Fisher. She has something to say.
I'd like to have Miss Debbie and Miss Stephanie come up here for just a second. For the friends and family here who may not know, these two ladies have been working with our kids for more than just this year. Miss Stephanie started with them all the way back in the 3s, and Miss Debbie started with them last year in the 4s. So we just want you both to know how much the parents just appreciate you, all you've done to invest in our kids, and we know they're going to go on and do great things, and that's so much because of the foundation you have laid. So we know they're well prepared for kindergarten, even though I think I speak for all the parents in saying that we're not so much, but we know they're ready. So we just have, the parents have a little something for you, and it's just our small way of saying thank you.
This past 3 years, for Stephanie, 2 for me, we've watched your children grow, not only physically, but socially and academically. Hopefully we've given them the foundation that they will need as they begin kindergarten next year. I know it's hard, because I've had 2 children that have already gone through that. If you think this is hard, wait till college.
Debbie, I totally agree. We have done so much with them the whole time we've had them. We've tried to teach them so many things to get them ready for kindergarten, but I kind of think, Debbie, sometimes I think that you and I are the ones that really learn stuff. Lots of things.
When I was teaching, I used to tell parents, I won't believe what they say about you if you don't believe what they say about me. These are some things that we have discovered from your children this year. I think they've all quit sucking their thumb by now. But at one time we had you suck thumb sucking. And I asked this little person one day, I said, what in the world does that thumb taste like? Because it must be really good. And her answer was, chicken finger salad.
You know, Debbie, she would never let us try that finger.
That's one of my favorite things to eat. All right. And I also learned this year that, well, we've had several storms, you know, with the tornado warnings and everything. But I learned that lightning is God taking pictures. But then later he gives them to Santa.
Hey, Debbie, we also learned that one day, you know that Cruella DeVille, she's got temptation in her head. Did you know that?
Cruella DeVille has temptation in her head.
She's the one that
She's from
in that red
101
car.
Dalmatians. I don't know if the grandparents know. Oh, sure, that's way back my time. And I've also learned that rattlesnakes are just misunderstood.
Hey, how about those kimono dragons? Hey, did you all know they eat small children?
And one day we were in the sanctuary for a lesson with the children, and the minute we walked in, one of them asked me why that place smelled like God. We're still trying to figure that out. And we've also talked about different parts of the country. And one of them mentioned Las Vegas to me one day. I said, oh, I know where, you know, that's in Nevada. And I also learned that that's where the weirdos live. Sometimes they'll come and tell us about their siblings being sick. And one day, I had a child tell me that his sister threw up all over their couch. But his daddy was an expert puker cleaner up. Well, let's see, I think it was in February. In February, while we were talking about President's Day, I was telling him when I was a little girl, my mom and dad took me to a town in Kentucky in Hodgenville. And that's where Abraham Lincoln's original home is. And I was trying to talk it up and everything, and I was telling about there's a monument built around the log cabin to preserve and everything. And I said, sometime you ought to get your mother and daddy to take you there. Well, my lesson was totally blown out of the water when one of them told me they knew where Coach Cal lived. So then also on President's Day, we tried to introduce them to money. And we brought in the coins with the presidents on them, and we brought in the dollar bill with George Washington on it, and we brought in the $5 bill with Sean Abraham Lincoln. So that's who it mostly focuses on. So the next week, we asked them who was on the $1 bill, and the reply was Jesus. So, oh, and we found out in March that a leprechaun took all his parents' money. Introducing the letter H and the sound of H, we often make words on the board, and they come up with the H word. Well, one of them came up with horse, which was awesome. The next sentence was, I like to bet on horses. This one will kind of be easy to figure out, but it was so cute I had to share it. We have a child in our class. Their last name has an apostrophe in it. Well, one day when they were writing their last names, I said, you know what that little mark is called? And she told me it was a catastrophe. So we really learned a lot from them this